Bremen. Yo, Tagdak, what's up, buddy?
Okay.
Let's go.
Your position was, I have no evidence that I was nowhere near during the time frame or whatever happened to Michael. So now you're saying, I don't know when he was shot, but I know I wasn't around there during that time frame. Correct? So you're saying, I don't know when this man shot, but you can't pin it on me.
But if you read farther, I said that.
Is that what you just said?
Your Honor, objection. I'm trying to answer the question.
No, you can rehabilitate your own witness.
All right, and Mr. Wiggs is correct. So please answer the question directly, and so once the question's asked, answer it directly, and then move on. Thank you.
Right? So you don't know when he was killed, but you're saying you can't pin it on me. I was nowhere around without knowledge when he was killed. Correct, sir? That's what you stated in your deposition.
No, it's not.
I just read it to you. You just read it yourself.
But like I said, if you read farther.
Sir, that's what you said, right?
Your Honor, can we approach with the transfer?
Sidebar, please. Please inquire.
Did you, in that deposition, tell Mr. Wiggs repeatedly that you do not know when Michael Shaver was killed?
Correct.
And that statement that Mr. Wiggs was reading about, I have evidence that I was nowhere near during the time frame or whatever happened to Michael Shaver, did you say at least 4 times after that you did not know when he was shot?
Correct.
As far as
Suck at work? Shit,
September,
that sucks.
your memory about when you first met Ms. Shaver at deposition, you said you didn't remember, and today you said that you first met her in the park in September of 2015. So what happened in between
God bless,
deposition
boys.
and today that helped with your memory?
Went back through all the old text messages to refresh my memory because this is going on almost 10 years ago. I don't remember everything I did during that period of time. So to refresh myself, if I was asked that question, I would know how to answer it. So I went back through all the old text messages and figured out when I seen Ms. Shaver.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wiggs.
Oh,
Thank you. I need the witness be released from his subpoena.
Fuck, boys. What a stretch that was. Woo. All right, Rocky.
How y'all doing?
Here, I'll let you out. Go harass her. Who, me? Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, don't fucking talk with me at that tone. Smack the shit out you. Smack the shit out you, boy. Nah, like where you just can't lock in stream. Story of my life, can't lock it in. I'm ripping a fat toe. Cheers, boys.
Do you know Lori Shaver?
Yes.
When did you first meet Lori Shaver?
This is in the summer of 14.
And where did you meet her?
Don Mealy Chevrolet.
And where were you working at the time?
There, Don Mealy.
What was your position there?
Salesman.
And what was the context of the meeting that you had at the Chevrolet dealership with Lori Shaver?
They were buying a truck.
When you say they, who are you referring to?
Her and her old man.
Do you remember his name?
It's Mr. Shaver.
Michael Shaver?
Michael Shaver, yeah.
And what kind of truck was she looking at that
I think it was a Silverado. Chevy.
Did they end up purchasing a vehicle that first time that they went to the dealership?
No.
Did there come a time that she returned to the dealership?
Yes.
And when she returned to the dealership, do you remember how she was dressed?
Like a
Short
whore.
shorts, cowboy boots on.
Okay. And was her husband with her?
No.
And what was the purpose of her coming that second time?
I really don't remember, to be honest with you. It was something to do with, we owed them something or something for the truck, I
Did they end
believe.
up purchasing a vehicle?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
After that purchase had been completed, did you end up texting with Lori Shaver back and forth?
Yeah, about the truck and all.
And at some point, did those text messages move on to something other than just the truck purchase?
Yeah.
Did you end up
Saki,
having
you're a
physical
fucking demon.
relationship
If the
with
fire alarm goes
Yeah,
off, Martha, just close
me
the
and my
door.
girlfriend split up.
Yeah, you will be.
her? Did she
Can't.
walk her out of this relationship? Then?
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of something.
And where would the physical acts between you and Lori Shaver occur?
At her house.
And what time of day would they?
Like I said, when you walk by.
I don't know.
I
It's
guess.
been years, man.
Do you remember she was working in an office or remotely at that time?
She wasn't working in no office. She's working at home.
And when was the last time that you had any contact with either Lori Shaver or Michael Shaver?
It was before the summer was up, so it was. I only was probably a month and a half. Probably, I'd say June, July. I guess July or August would have been in 2014 was the last contact.
After the relationship between you and Lori Shaver ended,
Yeah.
was there a time frame that Michael Shaver actually reached out to you to ask for help with something?
Probably about a month later, if not right close to it, he called me and said, Lori's trying to kill herself or she's trying to do something like that. And I said,
All right. Sustained.
Without getting into any,
okay.
he reached out and asked for help.
Yeah, and I told him that's between y'all. And
Did you have any contact with either of them after that?
no.
Have you ever gone back over to the Shaver
No.
residence after that?
No.
Nothing further.
Thank you.
How does he get in
Jeremy
contact?
Townsend and Jimmy Ballou were both questioned by authorities. After a thorough investigation, neither was implicated in any crimes related to this case. On the trial's third day, Jeremy Townsend's wife was called by the state to testify about how Lori posed as Michael Shaver on Facebook to expose her affair with Jeremy. This was important for the state because it demonstrated Lori's deliberate attempts to manipulate others and create a false narrative after Michael's disappearance. By showing that Lori was willing to impersonate Michael online, the state aimed to establish a pattern of deception, suggesting she was trying to cover up Michael's death and maintain control over the situation. Additionally, this testimony would further support the argument that Lori had something to hide.
Please state and spell your full legal name.
My name is Vanessa Townsend, VANESSA TOWNSEND.
Please raise your right hand and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you
Only
give
it
today
works when
shall
I'm
be
on
the truth,
Metro
whole
for
truth,
some-
and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Next couple of days, yeah, but I'm gonna sell him Chone.
I'm Vanessa Townsend.
Did you know Jeremy?
I sent you
I do.
like an email not too long ago.
He's my husband.
I don't know if you got it or whatever.
April 12th, 2008.
And do you have children together?
We do.
How many?
1,
How old is your child?
14.
And in 2016, where were you working?
Heinrich Elementary.
And what was your position there?
A teacher.
Did you work there the whole school year, 2015 to 2016?
Correct.
Ms. Townsend, did you receive an unexpected delivery?
I did.
What was that delivery?
Flowers.
And did those flowers come with a card?
They did.
Is that the card that you received with the flowers?
It is.
And is that in the same or substantially same condition as when you received that?
It is.
And after receiving that, did you eventually turn this over to law enforcement?
I did.
Your Honor, this kind of statement moves State's Exhibit T into evidence as State's number 30.
All right. Objections overruled. States T will be entered into evidence as states number 30.
Now, did that, the card...
I'm off
that came
to
with
the
card,
six,
did
so
that
we gotta
include
sesh up
a
a
message?
Rockstar and just roll
And
out.
can you go ahead
Yeah.
and read that message to the jury, please?
Yeah, bro. I mean, if your phone's not really working and shit, I sent you emails and stuff. I just never sent them back.
Great.
Sorry.
He said, "Do you want to hang out that one day?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. Just fucking hit me up tomorrow."
It says
never got a
roses are
message
red,
back.
violets are blue. My wife is a... Your husband is too. Sorry about this. Check your Facebook message. We need to talk, Mike.
Kyle Holmes.
Now, up until this point, have you ever had any interactions with this particular Mike or a Mike?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely down, bro. Go off top.
up until this point, had you noticed any
Rich.
messages from a Facebook profile identified as Michael Shaver prior to receiving those flowers?
No.
Up until this point, did you have any knowledge or that your husband was potentially having an affair?
No.
When did you receive that card and those flowers?
In April 11th, 2016.
In the time frame leading up to you receiving those flowers, was there ever any time that your husband was sleeping anywhere other than the home, which would have given you concerns that he was having some sort of extramarital affair?
Sleeping elsewhere?
Yes.
No.
So you always came home at night, he was always around.
Yes.
Now, after you received that card, did you in fact go, well, did you have a Facebook profile at that point?
I did.
And
How's
after receiving
this
that card and that message,
chubby
did you go
ass,
on
ugly
your
ass man
Facebook
pulled
profile
his
and
dying
realize that
little
there had
brother?
been either a friend request or some
Crazy,
sort of
man.
messages from Michael Shaver's Facebook account?
I did.
And once you saw that
Man must be making
that
bank.
request had come in and those messages had come in, what did you do
This is some
specifically
cherry
as
oil.
it relates to Facebook?
The brand wood? Alright, sounds like a plan,
I
man.
contacted
Not gonna say
the
no to that.
person back.
Did you accept it? Did you accept this friend request to be able to look at these messages?
I did.
And did you go through the messages that had been sent to you up until the point that you had received those flowers?
Yes.
During the time frame that you were corresponding with the individual utilizing the Michael Shaver Facebook account, did they encourage you to get a divorce?
Yes, they did.
Did they make any offers to you in relation to that?
I don't know what you mean offers. I'm sorry.
Did they bring up matters of a divorce attorney?
Yes, they did. They recommended one.
Now, ultimately, when you got this information, did you confront your husband about it?
I did.
And at that time, did you both decide to stay together, married, and in the relationship?
We did.
And when did that process and that period of time begin?
For the
Big
end
ups?
of
Yeah,
April,
sounds like a plan, man.
May.
I'll talk to you soon.
And after that period of time, was there ever
How does that
instances
hit?
where,
There's no way I hit the
Mr.
trigger
Townsend
before.
left on an
Horseshit.
unknown, was out of the places that you weren't aware during that time frame?
No.
Go, let's go, let's go.
No further questions at this time?
All right, Mr. Wiggs,
I don't have any questions.
and the witness be released from her subpoena.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for appearing today. You're released from further.
Travis Filmer, Laurie's current husband, was also called to testify, and he had plenty to answer for. The jury was curious. What did he know about Michael's disappearance? Did he question Laurie about the body buried in their backyard? And what was up with the so-called wedding on New Year's Eve of 2016? Authorities couldn't find any legal records of Laurie ever divorcing Michael. This quick remarriage, occurring about a year after Michael vanished, may suggest to the jury that Laurie had already moved on and intended to start a new life with Travis and could imply motive. The questions loomed large, and Travis was right at the center of it all.
Morning. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
Hi, my name is Travis. I'm Laurie's husband.
And are you a convicted felon?
Correct.
How many times have you been convicted of felony?
I have 2 charges against me. 2
What a
convictions.
winner.
Would it help refresh your recollection of that if I showed you your judgment, sir?
Sure.
Do you remember that case?
Yes. Yes.
One felony there?
Yep.
In this case, 2 felonies there.
No, so when I was 18, that was 2.
So you have a total of 3.
Okay. Yep.
You agree with that?
I do.
Now, you said you're Lori Sheaver's husband.
When I was 18, like,
You
was
identified her
2.
around the court today.
Laurie's right there.
And which seat is she sitting in?
The second.
And how did you meet Ms.
I think I make shades
I met this
tonight.
filmer at through my brother. He knew her from the gym, and he introduced us at her residence at a get-together that he had put together with his now current wife.
And when was that get together?
Late January 2016, I believe.
And why did your brother put together a gathering at her house?
He said it was something for work, a get together for work.
Were you aware of any time that either your brother or his now wife was living at the Shaver?
At that time, no.
When did they live there?
I think his wife was there. She was there sometime before that, I guess.
Okay, so she was living there before that time frame in 2016.
Correct.
And when did you and Ms. Shaver start?
Yeah, I'm getting fucked
dating?
for loot, boys.
Late May.
Making a lot of money, but there's like
So between January and May, what was your relationship?
no
at that
fucking
time?
We
recent
didn't have
drops,
Did
nothing.
you communicate, text, phone, anything like that?
We had a few conversations here and there, but we didn't. I was in a relationship. She made it very clear to me the first night that we met that she was in a relationship. So we didn't communicate.
And at the time that you started dating, had she ever told you what her marital status was?
No, sir.
Had she ever told you that she was single but she had been previously divorced?
She told me that she was in a relationship with a gentleman, but at that time never got into any marital status.
Do you remember giving a deposition in this case?
I do.
Do you remember saying anything different about what her representations of her marital status was at that time?
At the time that we first met?
I'm talking about when you started dating her. Did she ever talk about her marital status?
No.
Okay. Do you remember giving that deposition?
I remember having a deposition, correct.
I'm going to go ahead and refer to page 4, line 25, Mr. Wicks, showing you a copy of that deposition. Go ahead and read to yourself line 24 and 25.
Yeah, that didn't happen at that time.
Had she ever told you that she was divorced?
Yes, sir.
All right. What was her ex-husband's name then?
Michael.
And what did she tell you about the whereabouts of her ex-husband at that time?
She just told me that they were divorced and that he wanted nothing to do with the family, did not know where he was, and he was not around.
And had she expressed to you that he left and wasn't having contact with the children?
Correct.
And how long did you date until you moved into her home?
A few months.
Do you remember about when you actually moved in, what month it would have been?
Probably July, late July.
And who all was living at that home at that time?
Lori, her 2 kids, and Becca.
And Rebecca is...
Rebecca. Yeah.
That would be your brother's girlfriend at the time?
Correct.
Now, and they're now married?
Correct.
How long did Rebecca stay living in that home?
I don't know.
Did she end up moving out around December 31st, 2016?
I have no idea.
And in December 31st, 2015, did you have some sort of commitment ceremony with Lori Shaver?
I'm sorry, you just said December 31st, 2015.
Thank you for correcting me. December 31st, 2016.
Yes, sir.
All right. And when you say commitment ceremony, what is that?
Just a commitment to each other under God.
And had you had any discussions about why you wouldn't just get legally married at that point?
Yes, sir.
And why did she tell you that she didn't want to get legally married?
Lori, when we were talking about marriage, in conversation, told me that she did not want to sign.
All right, sidebar, please.
Why did she tell you she did not want to get legally married?
She told me that due to the extreme trauma and abuse of her previous marriage, she did not want to sign a contract with another man that she felt like gives the man to make her property.
All right. Do you remember giving a deposition where I asked you a very similar question?
Yes, sir.
And at that time you said she didn't want to get married because she had financial issues.
100%.
Okay. So not what you just said?
No.
But financial.
Together with what I just said.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you that deposition. Just going to go ahead and ask you to reference that section where you're talking about that.
I asked the state to advise of the page and line that they're running.
Yes, please recite the page and line number. Thank you.
It is page 8, lines 8 through 11. Mr. Fuller, you had an opportunity to review that?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, you did not say anything about the violence, it was about financial issues.
I did not.
Okay. But now when you're testifying, when your wife is facing murder charges, now your testimony has changed.
She was facing murder charges when we had that deposition.
But your testimony has changed.
It has not.
Now in September of 2016, did you help pour a cement slab in the backyard of the residence where you are now living?
I did.
And who helped you with that?
Lori.
Did your brother help you with that as well?
No, sir.
In order to do that, did you go and rent a cement mixer from Home Depot?
I did.
All right. I'm showing you, show defense. It's been previously marked as State's Exhibit Day A. Do you recognize this receipt?
Sure.
And is that the receipt for the cement mixer that you read into help for this?
Yeah, it looks like one.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves State's AA into evidence as State's number 27.
Any objection?
No objection.
Without objection, State's AA will be moved into evidence as State's number 27.
And can you go ahead and just read out when that was read?
When it was rented?
Yes.
The date says 9/12/2016.
At that commitment ceremony that you referenced in December of 2016, what was Lori wearing?
A white dress.
And did someone escort her to where you were?
Yes, I'm trying to remember who that was.
Was it your grandfather?
Yes, sir, it was.
Was there basically some sort of official there doing the proceeding?
Correct.
For anyone looking at this would look like a wedding.
100%.
And had you represented to everyone that you were getting married at that time?
No.
Okay, so no one thought that this was a wedding?
No.
The wedding that you referred to, that was in, what year was that?
That would have been December 31st, 2016, sorry.
And had that been referenced, you were a guest at that?
Yeah, because we were, the next day, we were moving into, Austin and I and Kendall were moving into our new home.
Had that event been represented to you to, in fact, be a wedding?
Yes, it was.
And she was in a white dress?
Yeah, when I had come back from signing our lease and everything, she was already in her dress.
Wedding cake?
There was a wedding cake, yep, a dress.
Everyone there thought that Travis and Lori were being married at that time?
For sure.
Now, in 2018, law enforcement responds to your home, and eventually skeletal remains are found in your backyard. You remember that?
I do.
And at that time, did you ask Ms. Shaver how that body got back?
I did not.
So this person that you were in this committed relationship with, that had told you that her husband had just left, just had no contact with the kids, there's a body found in the backyard, and you don't ask her a single question.
That's not exactly what happened. Lori called me on the day that the detective showed up at the house. I was at work. I had just gotten off work, and she called me sobbing, crying, and I asked her what was wrong. She proceeded to tell me that detectives had shown up at the house and they were asking about Michael. She then told me that they had left. I told her I will be home shortly. I worked real close to where we were living, and I got home, walked in the house. As soon as I walked in the house, a detective knocked on the door. He proceeded to ask me if I knew anything about Michael. I said, no, I've never met him. I couldn't even tell you what he looks like if you showed me a picture. And which detectives did show me a picture. I was like, okay. They just told me, we'll be in touch. And that was that. I walked back in the house. I told Lori, I said, it looks like something serious is going on. You need to get an attorney.
But specifically, you did not ask her anything about the fact that that body was from the backyard.
Correct.
After the body was discovered, did you speak with law enforcement?
I had multiple conversations with law enforcement.
Did you ever make the statement, it is not that he is, statement relaying from Ms. Shaver, that it is not that he is missing, it is that he is no longer walking the face of this earth? Have you ever made that statement to law enforcement?
Thank you for bringing that up, because there's a point of clarification. I understand what
Please don't argue. Please answer the question.
Yes, sir. I did not make that statement.
Okay. You never made that statement to law enforcement?
Not exactly as you're saying it, no.
Did you ever make that statement to Robert Prober?
Not as you're saying it, no.
All right, please state and spell your full legal name.
My name is Robert Proper. Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, Proper, P-R-O-P-E-R.
All right, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give today shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Did Mr. Culver make a statement that he said represent
Yes. Yes.
What was that?
We were discussing Mr. Shaver's disappearance, and he made the statement basically that it wasn't a matter of he was missing, he was no longer walking the earth.
Nothing further, Judge. And who is Robert Kroger?
He's somebody that I have done work for.
Is he a friend of yours?
No, sir.
Have you known him for a long time?
I have known of him for a long time.
You have no issues with him, though?
I do not.
You are now officially married to Ms. Shaver, correct? Correct. When did that occur? 2020.
Do
you have any children with her?
I do.
How many?
2.
What are their names? Has your relationship with your brother and your family changed in any way since you started a relationship with Ms. Shaver?
Not since I started a relationship with her, since this investigation started.
Has there ever been a time where Ms. Shaver used your phone to text your brother where she was acting as if she was you?
Not to my knowledge.
Have you ever told anyone that she did that?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Wiggs?
Detectives conducted a thorough investigation into Travis Filmer and ultimately cleared him of any involvement. But the real twist came when Laurie's now 15-year-old daughter took the stand. The defense was counting on her testimony to introduce just enough reasonable doubt about Laurie's direct role in the murder. During direct examination, Laurie's daughter delivered jaw-dropping testimony. She claimed this is how it all unfolded. She walked into the living room to find Michael, whom she hadn't seen in 6 months, in the middle of a violent altercation with Laurie. According to her, Michael had his foot on Laurie's head and was threatening to kill her. Terrified, she grabbed a gun and shot him. She watched as he collapsed onto the couch and began seizing. Then, she said Jeremy Townsend suddenly appeared, grabbed the gun, and shot Michael again before threatening to kill anyone who spoke about it. In a statement, Laurie claimed her priority was getting the kids out of the house. That's why she didn't call 911. Instead, she took her kids to school after the killing, with her younger son completely unaware of what had just occurred. When she returned from what she described as a very brief
The bitch
trip,
got crazy
the
in her
entire
eyes, man.
scene had mysteriously been cleaned, Michael's body was gone, and later buried without anyone noticing.
Why bury it, not to
Lieutenant
burn him in
Tamara
the
Dale
fire?
was then asked whether law enforcement had been informed of these claims during their investigation.
During the time frame that Mr. Wiggs provided you with information relating to names he thought you needed to investigate, did he give you any information regarding Isabel Shaver?
No, sir.
And at some point after Laurie Shaver's arrest, did you interview Isabel Shaver?
Yes, I did.
And at that time, how old was she?
It was in 2018, and she had just had a birthday, so I think she had just turned 12 a few days earlier.
And in the course of your training experience, have you had training about how to interview children?
Yes, sir.
And that's an important skill involved with, obviously, child sex investigations. Have you ever participated in those?
I have, yes, sir.
And the interview at the Child Advocacy Center.
Yes, sir.
And what is the Child Advocacy Center?
So it's a place where child victims or witnesses can be interviewed in a very friendly, child-friendly setting by people whose only job it is to interview kids and talk to them, get information, useful information, truthful information, but without re-traumatizing them in any way. And the setting is completely, like I said, child-friendly. They sit on couches, they have toys they can play with, there's cartoons in the waiting room. So basically, completely the opposite as than us taking them to the sheriff's office and putting them in one of our waiting rooms.
But to clarify, when you interviewed Isabel Shaver, where did that occur?
That was at their house. And did I say I interviewed her in 2018?
When did you?
I interviewed her in 2020. If I got the year wrong, I'm sorry.
I might have been. But that was not done at the sheriff's office. That was
No, that was at her house. Yes, sir.
Now, not getting into any specific things that she said at that time, did she bring up anything related to her involvement or Jeremy Townsend's involvement that required further investigation by the sheriff's office at the time she gave either of those interviews?
No, sir.
Are you aware that there have been discussions through Mr. Wiggs about Isabel Shaver's involvement in this case since the time that you would have interviewed her in the child advocacy interview?
Yes, I am aware.
At the point that those statements came forward, were charges already pending against...
Yo, Jayski, what's good, boss? What are you saying?
other talking witnesses would be done through the state attorney's office at that point.
Correct.
And Ms. Isabel Shaver, are you aware, was deposed through the course of this hearing?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of that.
Chilling.
The state's attorney wasted no time dismissing Isabel's testimony, calling it patently false. The prosecutor urged the jury to ask themselves why the defense would present such an outlandish story. The only logical conclusion, the state argued, was that this narrative was crafted to cover up the truth, that the defendant, not anyone else, had coldly murdered Michael Shaver. And with that, the defense called their final witness to the stand, the accused, Laurie Shaver.
That'd be the first God of War. What do you think? Yo, what did you think of it? On God. What did you think? Pretty good, not gonna lie, your ace fight was a bitch and a half. Buddy, you think it's hard, you should try it on the hardest difficulty, bud. That's why I wanted you to do it. That shit ain't no fucking joke. Ain't no fucking joke at all, bud. Let me tell you. You make one mistake in the fucking hard difficulty, it's just instant death. Literally just instant death and just fucking... You know what's even harder? When you're in the fucking... You know what's crazy? When you're in that temple room and you got all the Kratoses coming at you? That's so fucking hard, man. Oh my god, that shit drove me insane.
Please have a seat at the witness stand. Please make yourself comfortable. Let me know when you're ready to proceed. Please state and spell your full legal name.
Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a glass of water. Keep going. My back's fucking killing me. Died like 3 times. Damn. Gotta try that on the hardest difficulty, bub.
Lori Filmer, Lauriefilmer.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Filmer, would you state your name for the record, please?
Lori Filmer, previously known as Lori Shaver.
Big day in your life, isn't it? Big week. It's been several years, hasn't it, Ms. Filmer? So there did come a point in time when you were later with Jeremy, correct? So that's later in time, correct, to those events?
Yeah, it was a couple months later. Like I said, school had just started. I had went to school without dropping the kids off, whatever. I had marks on my face. Jeremy noticed. He sent me a message. I started talking to him. Obviously talking to him reassuring me. He was saying all the right things. I kind of felt for it. I'm not denying that. I did. It was nice, right? Because now I'm back into
solid ground.
Yeah. And it wasn't working, and I'm like, I'm right back into it. So, my birthday, Jeremy and I had talked about plans to go out shopping, going to the movies, going to Hurricanes. You know, just hanging out for the day while the kids were in school. Awesome. Mike was still in the house at that time. And, I had told him that I had just wanted to go out for the day, go shopping, get my nails done, whatever. And he absolutely refused. So I threw a fit as I was walking away from him. He had given me my birthday presents. As I was walking away, he threw a...
Let's not talk about specific events, okay? Let's stay on the factual area of those events, okay? But there was an altercation arising out of that confrontation, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so eventually, I take it, Michael's out of the house at a period of time. Okay.
So I kicked him out, I think it was November 10th.
And you got rid of like a bunch of this shit
when
here.
we moved, once the body was found,
figure out what to keep and what to get rid of.
I lost my dog. Travis was a youth leader at the time. He started working for a granite company. Finances had gotten really tight. We found a home that we could afford. We got the cameras, and Jeremy was caught on those cameras on a couple occasions going by. If I seen him now, I would not recognize him if he was standing in front of me.
Go back a bit. You spoke about, and you have images, clear images, as to the events that would happen on a regular basis. Let's reflect back on that, though. Were these acts events that would cause serious bodily harm to you?
Yes.
Were these events that would involve, likewise, domestic violence, shouting, and threats?
Yes, that and more.
Okay. Do you believe that you would be here today but for the act of Isabel?
Sorry, what?
Yo. That's right there. That right there. Just fucked her whole case. That's crazy.
Do you believe that you would be here today but for the act of Isabel?
Sorry, what?
The event where Michael was shot, Isabel acted, came to your aid. Do you believe you might not be alive but for Isabel and or Jay?
Correct, yeah.
Lori, have you testified from your heart the truth of these events? Have I left anything out that you feel that you need to tell the juries to clarify any issues that you've spoken of at this stage?
I mean, there's a lot I would like to get out.
Okay, direct me to the topic. I know we can't go into the detail of these events, though. Okay. Aside from that, is there anything else?
Michael had a lot of anger. I know. Please.
Sustained.
Well, we've spoken about
Yes.
emotional attitude,
Correct.
but we can't get really
I know. I know.
events that we've spoken.
Objection, Your Honor. This isn't a question.
All right,
No, I'm
sustained.
just correcting her so you don't go down that path.
Yes, sir. All right. Please ask a question if you wish.
So, aside from the issues that we've spoken about, the temperament and the disposition and the atmosphere, and all the matters that we've discussed, is there anything else that you feel that the jury should know?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for narrative. It's not a question.
Sustained. Please ask a specific
Okay.
question if you wish.
Is there a topic that we have not discussed?
No, nothing that I'm going to be able to talk about at this time.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
As expected, Attorney
60
Griggs
mil?
stayed away from asking
Oh,
Laurie Shaver for
really?
specifics about what led to Michael's death. By avoiding those details, Griggs aimed to limit any inconsistencies or contradictions the prosecution could leverage during cross. Now, it's up to the state to capitalize on the risk of putting Laurie on the stand, challenging her credibility and actions to drive home their argument that she's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right. State, you may proceed.
Ms. Shaver, in the beginning of your testimony, I believe you may have misspoke. Mr. Wiggs asked you when you were married to Mike Shaver, and you said May of 2016. When did you get married to Michael Shaver?
2006.
Okay. That's okay. Now, the biggest question I have for you, because you didn't mention it once in your entire story, is when did your husband get killed?
The exact date I cannot recall. It was beginning of May of 2016. It was not November.
Okay. So sometime, you don't know, but sometime in May of 2016 is when this happened. Okay. Now, after he left in November of 2015,
Okay.
you got it straight now? Okay. After he left in November of 2015, was this incident, which ultimately led to his death, the first time that he came back?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So then in August, I'm sorry, you're saying you actually started a relationship with Jeremy Townsend in August of 2015?
We started talking in August, and Michael was still at the residence.
Okay. So after November of 2015, he does not come back to the house.
Correct.
So that check that was sent to him and deposited in his account, he would not have received, correct?
I don't know. He got his mail.
How did he get his mail if he wasn't at the house?
The mailbox was not at my residence. It was at the end of the road.
Okay. So after he left in November of 2015, are you saying that he would just come by every day to pick up his mail?
I don't know what he did.
Now, did you ever tell
This
anyone...
bitch is really not helping
that,
herself at all.
After he left in November of 2015, that he was in jail for failing to pay child support?
I did.
That wasn't true, correct?
No, it was not. That was an old manager that I had a relationship with way back when, and
This
he
bitch
had
is
moved
sleeping with
back
everybody.
from Connecticut to Florida and was reaching out to me, and he was curious. I was not.
That's Ramin, correct?
Correct.
And that, when you say relationship, that's another affair, correct?
Correct.
But you told him that Mike was in jail for failing to pay child support and his license was suspended, correct?
I give him my personal information, and he was asking about that because.
Okay, wait, hold on one second. How is Mike being in jail your personal information?
accurate personal information because he was questioning.
Holy
because
shit, I got
to that,
so
there
many
was
there.
conversations where Michael had threatened once again, after finding out, to kill me.
All right. So when you told
It's a bit
your
acting like Shane bring this all on
manager that you
himself.
had a prior affair
Get out
with
here.
that Mike was in jail, that was a lie. When law enforcement came and asked you about the whereabouts of your husband, you were not truthful with them, correct?
I didn't know where he went. The last,
You know what happened to him, correct? All right. You didn't tell him that, correct? The Walmart purchase that was on your husband's bank account, you did that, correct?
I don't recall doing that.
That was sent to your house with your name on it, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't recall like the exact parameters around it or what I bought or anything like that.
Exclamation point redeem code, Sean.
So this event
Go,
happens
bud.
in May.
We're about to
of
fight a boss.
2016, correct? Say yes?
Yes.
Your relationship
Pat
with
luck.
Jeremy
Pat luck.
Thompson and
Hey,
Jerry
Rocky.
Poltresley in May of 2016, correct?
Pat
Say
luck.
yes. And your relationship with Travis Filmer then begins in May of 2016, correct?
He came over at the end of May. Yes.
And you were actually engaged to him in July of 2016, correct?
Yes.
In April of 2016, Rebecca Urbanowski was living with you, correct?
Right.
And the fire pit itself was built in March of 2016?
I guess so. I don't.
That's when you posted it, right? And then how big was your property?
5 acres.
And out of all of that land, you just happened to choose the area where your dead husband's body was found to put that cement slab. That's basically what you're saying here, correct?
No, because I did not know his body was there. It went there because that area was already dug out.
Quite a coincidence, you'd agree, correct?
Hi.
No, not necessarily. Not if you realize the whole parameters of what came
That was
first
my
and how
baby
that all
boobs.
transpired. Like I said, that was
That was my baby boobs.
something that
Oh,
Jeremy and I
baby.
had originally talked about doing because I had
That was
gotten rid
my
of the
boy.
animals,
No.
and we had the fire pit, and we were talking about wanting to. I
That
mean,
was my baby.
it was his suggestion to put in concrete.
So the March 2016 is when
That
you
was
put that
my boy.
fire pit in, and 2 months later is when your husband is killed on your property, correct?
Yes. But the concrete was not poured until September.
Correct, by you and your now husband.
But I had no knowledge that he was under there. If I was trying to cover him up, why would I do that so many months later? And only
I haven't asked you a question, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the incident that led to your husband's death, your husband had not been around for months, correct?
correct.
And he just happens to show up sometime in
Oh, yeah,
May
yeah,
of
yeah,
2016, correct?
Not just happened. That was pretty typical of him being gone for months and then showing up and us getting back together.
Okay.
That was
And then during that time frame, this was sometime before you were going to take your kids to school, correct?
yes. He was out on the porch when I went.
How was he dressed?
Shorts, t-shirt, sneakers.
Okay. And an argument between the two of you starts.
Yes, I went outside. I got the kids settled and I went outside to talk to him.
How old was your daughter at this point?
7.
And is there a reason why you never taught your daughter how to dial 911?
I mean, we just had cell phones. We didn't have a landline. She knew how to dial 911, but like I said, I had my cell phone on me. The security system that we had, she would have not have been able to reach. It was above the keys where the door was.
Well, when she said, I didn't know how to call 911, I'm asking why you wouldn't have taught her.
I did teach her how to call 911, but she didn't have a phone.
Okay. Now, your testimony is that she shot him, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, that you were able to get out from underneath Mr. Shaver, correct?
I did not crawl away until he was falling to the ground. After she shot him, I was still looking at her, like, still comprehending everything that was happening. I wasn't two yet because he had his foot on my face, smushing it into the ground. It took me, I mean, it wasn't that long, but it took me a little bit to kind of comprehend what was occurring. And then
certainly didn't get up after being shot, correct? He certainly didn't get up out of the chair after being shot, correct?
No, not until, no. After the second shot, he fell forward. The first shot, he sat in the chair.
At the time of his death, Mike Shaver was about 5'3"?
5'3"?
Mm-hmm.
5'8", 5'10".
Okay. Now,
I'm 5'2".
The probable cause affidavit around the time of his arrest listed him at 5'3" and 130 pounds. You're saying that's inaccurate?
That was probably me.
Okay, you weren't arrested, right?
His probable cause from 2014?
Yes. You're saying that 5'3" and 130 pounds is inaccurate, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's
okay.
Definitely probably not what's on his driver's license. He was not 5'3". He was like 5'8" and 150, 160 pounds.
I'm 5'8", 175.
I was 5'2" and 115, 20.
When Mike left, he left his vehicle, correct?
You're talking about the black car.
No, I'm talking about he had a vehicle and he left it behind, correct?
His black car had been sitting there for a while. He had a bent rim and the air in the tire could not stay inflated. So he was driving my truck back and forth to work.
Right. My question was, when he left and moved out, he left his car, correct? And he left everything that he had that had any sort of value that could be sold, correct? His guns,
he took
his
stuff,
tools,
yes.
his ATV, left all that behind.
All the tools that were in the shed were of no use to him. They were like old tools and stuff like that, and it wasn't an ATV.
My question was, he left the stuff behind, stuff that he could have
Let me
sold,
do this farm
correct?
run, Jay, and I'll be on.
Correct.
Go on Discord right now.
He stopped going to work and lost his job because of it, correct?
I was not aware of that at that time.
So he lost his ability to make any money, correct?
I was not
Buddy
aware
Jackson.
of that at that time.
Message me.
Prior to November of 2015, he would call you on using the phone frequently, correct?
Yes, because he was back in the house and we were trying to work things out.
After November of 2015, there is absolutely no calls to you after that November 7th, 2015, correct?
Hey, what's up?
I don't recall.
There's not a single call to you, to the children.
Dude, the fucking
anything,
ending of
correct?
that first God of War is pretty insane.
I don't
Yeah,
recall.
he just kills him and takes
There's
stuff around.
no activity on his bank other than...
And then I started the second one. Zeus stabs me in the stomach, a little fucking bit.
Where you live, correct?
He took all my, so no, I was so stoked to start off with all my powers and shit, you know, like all your
They
health
do, they let you.
No one can
and then
account for him,
Zeus
correct?
took them all.
I know. And now
What
you're
a
just
bitch.
now you're hell bent on revenge, and then you gotta
But
go
there
fight
is-
the fucking
you've
Sisters of
definitely
Fate.
not had any contact with him in any way.
No, what a bitch, bro. I'm getting Zeus back.
Bro, wait till you fight the
Sunday,
Sisters of
which
Fate.
you
It's
do
like
not
one
know
of my
in May
favorite boss fights of all
2016
time.
When this incident occurs, correct?
Just
He showed up
fucking,
prior to
you
me.
rip their heads off and shit, or what?
Something like that, but like how you kill them is
he was
so
already
smart.
causing
and, like,
trouble
so cool,
prior
like,
to that, which fits
just
within
neat.
his history of
I
doing
just
this.
got out of Hades, so I'm like right there at that save point, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna go get yourself a bow and arrow.
Oh shit, no shit, eh?
Yeah, the bow and arrow sucks in this game. Pretty good for building the combos, but like we're gonna get this thing later on. I'm not gonna spoil too much.
Correct.
Actually,
But
you can get this like electric attack later on, kinda,
yes.
and it's just like so fucking
his
good.
threats, stuff like that.
Broken. So Zeus gave you the sword just to take your powers and kill you, pretty much, right?
Yeah, he tried killing you, but the person. Have you figured out who's talking to you? Who saved
He
you
was
yet?
communicating.
Gaia?
Yeah.
With
So she
Jeremy?
fucking goes and saves
I
you,
believe he
so
had
you can
sent me
join the
text.
Titans and fight
He had
against
sent me a
Olympus.
nasty text prior to that.
And then that's where they
telling
lead
me
up
I
to
was
3.
Just like my mom.
That's like.
Something to that effect.
That's such a
I'm
cool
not
story,
spoiling-
dude.
I'm not spoiling nothing.
Your IP address.
Perfect. I've been grinding.
Yeah, no, I was gonna tell you where we started in 3, but I
Because
can't.
it's the same IP address
3's
that
beginning is
your
so
account
fucking
that you
good.
said
You're making
you
me
used
other go
posted
play
on
those
as
games
well.
now.
Okay, how do we know that he didn't post on my
They're
Facebook
so
or
good.
log into my Facebook?
They're so good.
So am I supposed to play like Ascension or whatever the fuck it's called? God of War Ascension? When does it
I
go
mean-
to the time frame?
You can play them.
Is it like before or after 1 and
So
2?
what vehicle?
I think it's
The
in
day that
between
he
1 and
showed
2.
up in May of 2016.
Is it? Okay. Because I was
what
looking on the
vehicle you
internet
used to get
and
to your house.
I don't know. I'll just play 1, 2, and 3, and then if I want to play the other ones.
What
Yeah, 1, 2, and
vehicle
3
was
are
in
the
your
gods.
yard that you didn't
And you gotta
recognize
get
that day?
God of War 2018 and
In May?
Yes.
Ragnarok.
So he
Is God of War 2018 just called God of War?
Yeah, it's called God of War.
Without a vehicle in your house
Okay.
on the back.
It has
porch.
that one on
Not
the
paying attention to
PlayStation
that.
Game Pass, but it only has the trial for the newest
Nothing
one.
further, Judge.
Yeah, you gotta
Thank you,
play
Mr.
God of War
Wicks.
2018 because it's a continuation after God
All
of War
right.
3.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You
Like,
may
I'm
step
not
down from the
spoiling
witness
nothing,
stand.
though.
It's with your boy too, like your
I'm
son.
not spoiling nothing. Not spoiling
So
nothing.
the newest God of War and God of War 2018 are both with your son, or just the newest one?
I'm
In
not saying
closing,
nothing.
the state argued Laurie
Okay.
Shaver was the only
Fair
one
enough.
with something to gain from Michael's death.
Fair enough.
They walked the jury through each piece of compelling
Diamond grind?
circumstantial evidence,
Yep.
including the
I'm
fact
just doing
that
this
Laurie
farm,
posted on Facebook about pouring a concrete
Eh?
slab on her property right over the spot where Michael's body was discovered years later. The state drilled down on the defense's story, saying it simply didn't add up. Laurie's young
My
daughter
homie's on
supposedly
fucking
shoots Michael,
Baldur's Gate
then
3.
Jeremy Townsend conveniently shows up, takes the gun, shoots
you
him
beat that
again,
game?
and threatens anyone who might talk.
No, I never beat it.
The state made it clear that version
Baldur's
of events
Gate.
defied all logic.
I even remember how to play it now.
On the contrary, the defense pointed out that the case was built
Like, what the
entirely
fuck
on
are you talking
circumstantial
about?
evidence. Attorney Griggs
I know
reminded the
Baldur's Gate.
jury that
Good
there were
game.
no forensics, no
good.
ballistics,
Never
and
beat
no DNA directly tying Laurie to Michael's death.
Dude, that fucking animal
He
guy's a
maintained that
beast,
Isabel's
bro.
testimony offered a plausible alternative explanation,
I
and
was so
claimed there
fucking
was
just-
more than enough reasonable doubt for an acquittal.
He was just like the glue our team
After
needed,
both
you know what I
sides
mean?
presented their
I was so high
slightly
I couldn't
different
do anything.
versions
I
of
was-
what
I
happened
could
to
tell he
Michael
was getting pissed
Shaver,
off.
the case was left in the
Just
jury's
kept dying.
You were
hands.
a tad bit.
Their task was to sift through the evidence, evaluate
Dude,
the
you saw when I
testimonies,
squad
and
wiped
decide
that
the
whole
truth.
team, bro? That was nuts.
It would take them just
I
4
don't
hours
remember,
to
man.
render a
That was
verdict.
fucking
You
zone.
don't? I don't think you were streaming either, dude. We were running into Storm. It was just you and I, and you were a little behind, and I ran into a team, and I fucking 1v3'd them all. It was nuts, dude.
I remember. I honestly don't remember nothing.
I was in
about
a-
it, really.
I played my Gibby bubble, bro, and I killed their
All right,
Gibby
after
bubble,
having
and I
reviewed
fucking
both
murked all
verdict
3 of
forms,
them.
the
It
court
was
was
finds
crazy,
saying-
no
dude.
errors or omissions in the filling out of the verdict forms.
I don't think you were there though. You were still in Storm. You were playing Pathfinder.
No.
Remember when I went back and rezzed
Bro,
you in
I was
Storm?
definitely fucked up.
Of the Fifth Judicial Circuit of the
You
State
guys,
I was
yeah,
playing
I rezzed you
Pathfinder,
guys
I
clear in
was-
Storm.
I would have definitely fucked
Sorry.
up if I was playing Pathfinder, bro.
Case
Jesus
number
Christ, I don't remember that at all.
2020
You don't at all? You're playing Pathy,
As
bro.
to count one.
Oh, I have no
We,
clue.
the jury, find as
We were
follows.
Pathy, Caustic, I was
Count
Lifeline.
one of the charge. The defendant is guilty of second-degree
You might have been
murder.
Horizon.
Was the defendant in actual possession of a
You were
firearm?
switching off between the
Yes.
two.
Did the defendant discharge a firearm? Yes. Did the discharge cause great bodily harm? Yes. So say we all, dated this 13th day of September 2024, Mercy Langley, foreperson. Verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find as follows.
It's
as to
raining
count 2
outside,
of
so
the
my
charge.
dog's like
The
losing his
defendant
mind.
is
He's like
not
scared.
guilty.
It's in here shaking.
So say we all, dated this 13th day of September 2024, Mercy Langley, foreperson.
Does counsel for either the state or the defendant wish to have the jury polled?
Defense does, Judge. Judge, at this time, we move, obviously, for Vorkath's motion for supersedious bond. Renew our
Hey.
motion for judgment of acquittal, notwithstanding the verdict. All
Rocky,
previous
relax.
grounds stated and asserted.
You're okay.
The motion for supersedious bond is denied, and the motion for judgment of acquittal is respectfully denied. Okay.
Yes.
Is your client, is Ms. Shaver entitled to a PSI? Okay. All right, Ms. Shaver, please stand. Based on the verdict of the jury finding you guilty of the offense of murder in the second degree with a firearm, as charged in the information filed against you in criminal case number 20 CF 2361, this court does hereby adjudicate you guilty of that offense and remand you to the custody of the sheriff pending receipt by the court of a pre-sentence investigation report by the Florida Parole and Probation Commission. You will be remanded now to the Lake County Jail. Let's set a sentencing date, Madam Clerk. Let's see, 60 days out. Okay.
So we all died to a team at fucking the middle of the map on Storm Point. I can't think of the name of it.
Storm Point Cascade.
A little to the left. That one POI down and left off the cliff. Yeah, Cedo Station, and I rezzed you guys in Storm and Storm 3, and we all rotated in.
All right, November 25th.
I remember that.
And it was
I
the
remember
same.
rotating in, and there was like a team waiting there and shit.
November 25th.
Yeah, and we sat there and ratted for like a minute and a half and tried to rotate in after, you know?
Yeah, I tell them just wait. We'll get them. Yeah, and then we sat there.
We had some good games last night, honestly.
Was it last night?
The night before. 2 nights ago.
I say, oh, it was last.
Damn, we're doppelgangers. No, we gained so much RP on Storm Point, dude.
Relax.
How close are you to D?
These nuts.
These nuts. I'm 900.
247.
Oh shit, we could get there.
I'm gonna start up a new stream.
Eh? An